All right, y'all. Let me give you my honest thoughts on JiDion. A lot of y'all been asking, so let's talk about it. So JiDion, he posted this video. Let's just watch this video real quick. I've already seen this video, but let me just watch it just to give y'all context in case you haven't seen it, and also just in case I miss anything. Because here's the thing, I'm excited, I'm happy, I think it's dope. It's a blessing that he's come to this realization, and it's a blessing that he is talking about wanting to use his platform to glorify God. But I do have a concern, really just one main concern that I want to talk about. So I'll get into that towards the middle of this video, all right? So let's watch this and I'll kind of give you my thoughts.
You know what? I'm not gonna let JiDion come out. There's no point in letting JiDion. I thought for a second, boys trying to turn to God, yo. I'm not trying to put like my pinky toe in no more. I'm not gonna just be sitting on the edge of the pool. I want to jump full in. I want to dive all in, chat. So that's all I'm gonna say. But you know, I don't want to just talk the talk. I want you guys to like see it in my actions. You feel me? I was with my girl. We were Ubering back from her college, and then right when we got back to the crib, the Uber driver, she looked back at us and she asked us a question. Me answering it made my heart sunk. But she said, "If you guys were to die right now, would you go to heaven or would you go to hell?" I had to be honest with myself. I had to look into myself, and I was like, the way I'm living right now, if God was to take my breath away right now, I'm going to hell. I couldn't even lie about it, chat. You feel me? Like, and you know what's crazy, chat? I be letting so many worldly things dictate how my day's gonna go. You feel me? You got people out here that are battling cancer, having horrible, like, you know, being victims of horrible crimes and all kinds of stuff, right? And they still have the ability to put a smile on their face and be genuinely happy. I get a strike on my channel and I'm not able to post for a week. I'm over here in the slumps. You would have thought my dog died, chat, the way I was around here acting when I was gone for that week, bro. Just pouting, being moody, being rude to people. The only reason why I was acting like that is because I'm letting worldly things dictate how my spirit is. And like, you know, the Bible talks about it all the time. You know, you can't be moved by the world. You have to hate the world. Chat, like, it's crazy. Like, Jesus is telling me that I have to hate the world, but the world loves me. You feel me? And that's like a honest predicament that I thought I was in. But really, it's an easy solution, bro. Like, if I'm gonna follow the spirit, I'm not gonna have a problem putting away worldly things. And I just had to like look at myself, chat, and I had to just think, if I do follow Jesus, if I do follow his word to tooth and nail of what it is front to back, then I'm not gonna be JiDion anymore. I'm not gonna be popping. I'm not gonna be on your guys' For You pages with edits. I'm not gonna be having the ASAP Rockies and the Mark Wahlbergs hit me up. I'm not gonna be having the NBA ask me to do stuff like, and like, for
Well,
the longest.
one second. I don't think, I think that's true to an extent, but I don't think that's all the way true, because the talent is not the problem. Because obviously JiDion, right? He's talented. There's a reason why he got to where he got to, that very few people ever experienced in their life. You think about, you know how many people start a YouTube channel and never even get a fraction of the success that he's had? There's a reason why he got to where he got. Hard work, his perseverance, his vision, his creativity, and his talent. All of that is not the problem. The talent was never the problem. It's where you choose to apply the talent that becomes problematic. Because think about it like this: you could have the world's #1 sniper, like military sniper, right? The world's #1 military sniper could be working for the United States military, or that same dude could be working for the Mexican cartel. It's the same talent. It's the same talent, but where are you choosing to apply that talent? It makes a huge difference. You can apply that talent into the ways of this world, and you could allow the world to use your talent. And look, the world is going to reward you for that talent, especially if it aligns with the agenda that they want to push to society. They're going to reward you. They're going to make sure you got some money in your pocket. They're going to make sure you got some cars, that you got some girls, that you got, you know, some followers. They're going to make sure you got all of that. But they're not going to make sure that you're saved when you pass away. They don't care about that. So it's not about the talent. It's where you choose to apply the talent. I don't think that you necessarily have to shift your entire strategy as when it comes to content and when it comes to YouTube. But I think you might have to shift the perspective, and even deeper than that, you might have to shift. Well, not might, you absolutely are going to have to shift your heart and the intention behind what you're doing. Is the intention behind the video solely just to make people laugh? Is it solely just for entertainment? Is it just for clicks? Is it just to make money? Is it for all of that? Is it to build connections, to build industry connections? What's that true purpose behind what you're doing? If you can shift that purpose, and if you can put that purpose towards glorifying God, I think you can still make similar content, but just keep that main focus, that main purpose to glorify God, and let that be your guiding light. And as you brainstorm videos, let the glory of God guide you in your brainstorming. As you're thinking about different ideas, as you're filming, as you're interacting with people, as you're posting it, as you're crafting titles and thumbnails, as you're developing merch to sell, let the purpose to glorify God and the Holy Spirit guide all of those things, and use that same talent, that same creativity, that same motivation, that same determination, that same grit and talent that you use to get to where you are. Use that same talent in order to glorify the kingdom of God. And like you said, maybe you're not going to be as poppin' from what you can perceive, but don't put a limit on what God can do. God can bless you infinitely more than the world can. Don't put a limit on what God can do. And hey, maybe the blessing of God looks different than what you're used to seeing from the world. Maybe it doesn't come in the form of money. Maybe it doesn't come in the form of, connections, or in the form of clout and followers, but maybe it comes in the form of something that's more personal and something that's more impactful for you. Maybe it comes in the form of deliverance from a certain sin, deliverance from a certain addiction, deliverance from generational curses that your family might be dealing with. Maybe the blessing that God is going to give you from this act of obedience is going to be something that's actually good for you. Because after all, God is our Father. He's not looking at, just giving you a bunch of, excuse my language, he's not trying to give you just a bunch of BS. He wants to actually give you substance that's going to grow you spiritually, because he wants what's best for you. You know what I'm saying? So look, maybe you might not be as popping from a worldly standpoint, but your position within the kingdom is increasing. And that's ultimately all that matters anyway. But hey, maybe you still might make a ton of money. That's great. But now you have another thing to consider. Now you have to understand how to operate with that gift of finances that you have. And now you have to learn how to be generous in the ways that God is directing you to be generous. Right? Maybe you might have more connections, but you have to understand how to steward those connections properly and not misuse or abuse those connections in order to glorify God. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be more fulfilling, and you're going to have more joy, and you're going to have more true peace than you've ever experienced in your life. Right? Let's continue.
Like I've been pushing this off for like the last year and a half, 2 years, but I was like, I'm not ready yet. Like, I don't want to do it yet. I don't want to do it yet. I don't want to do it yet. But after that lady got done talking to me, it was like, if I were to die right now, with me chopping it up with A$AP Rocky, with me chopping it up with Mark Wahlberg or Mark Cuban, or going to the Simon charity match, would any of that really matter, chat? No, it really wouldn't. Jesus tells us in the Bible, it's easier for a needle to go through a camel than for a rich man to go to heaven. And chat, man, thanks to you guys, I've acquired a very nice fortune, and I'm not saying that to brag or anything, but this fortune that I have on earth is nothing compared to the fortune I can have in the kingdom of heaven. This is just me like really talking to y'all. Like, this is me trying to just be so 100% transparent. But God tells us that a bird doesn't have to worry about where he's going to get his next meal from. And then he said, are you not better than a bird? I'm way better than a bird. So why am I tripping? Why am I tripping? You know the crazy thing about it, chat? I'm going to just spill the beans to y'all, bro. I'm going to be honest. So I was about to take a gambling deal, chat. I was about to take a gambling deal. I was about to do a deal with my bookie. I was giving myself so many reasons to take the deal. I was like, oh, I could pay my employees more. I'll be able to do cool events. I was trying to trick my brain into saying, oh, I'll be able to work more directly with these sporting companies and everything. Chat, bro, I was going to be making a lot of money, and for minimum work. But that's the reason why it's minimum work, is because like you guys clicking that link to the gambling page would be making up what they're paying me. You feel me? Because I even talked to Nico about it, right? And I was like, yo, Nico, man, I think I'm gonna do it. And Nico was like, don't do it, bro. Like, you're not that person. I was giving Nico every excuse under the bus. And he was just like, man, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but this isn't you, bro. And he was like, don't do it. My spirit was telling me not to do it, but I was just listening to my flesh, man. Bro, I'm telling you guys, do not listen to your flesh, bro. And you guys might be wondering, like, what are you saying by that? You'll know when you're in that circumstance. Do not give in to your flesh. Your flesh hates everything that your spirit's about, and the spirit wants nothing to do with everything that the flesh is about. So there's never a gray area with those things, you know? It's either black and white. That's one of the things in life. That's one of the only things in life that's black and white is your flesh. So the flesh and the spirit, what they both want. Fast forward, it's getting closer and closer to us finishing the deal and stuff. And then I was talking to young Don, and he read this one verse, and I hadn't even told him about this yet. But here, let me find it for y'all real quick. Then he told them a parable. A rich man's land was very productive. He thought to himself, what should I do since I don't have anywhere to store my crops? I will do this, he said. I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones and store all my grain and my goods there. Then I'll say to myself, you have many goods stored up for many years. Take it easy, eat, drink, and enjoy yourself. Bro, chat, the crazy thing about it is I literally had a number in my head. I was like, once I get to this number, I'll be good and my children are going to be good and I'll just be chilling, bro, you know? Like I was still going to be creating content here and there, but like I had a number in my, just like how he did, I had a number in my head and I was going to store up to that number. I was going to store up in my barn to that number and I was going to take it easy. I was going to eat, I was going to drink, and I was going to enjoy myself, right? And then in verse 20, but God said to him, you fool, this very night your life is demanded of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? Chat, there's nothing on this earth when you die that is yours. There is nothing that you own. Once we're in the dirt, once we're gone, it doesn't matter. Like, it's not like, oh, that's his, he's still gonna hold on to it. It's free real estate, you know? If someone dies and they don't have nobody in their will, what happens? The government takes it. If someone dies and their bank account's been sitting there for a while, what's gonna happen? The bank's gonna take it. There's nothing in this world that when we die is ours. And then in Luke, the next verse, that's how it is with the one who stores up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. And bro, that's literally what I would have been doing if I took that gambling deal, chat. I would be storing up for myself instead of God. I would be storing up, like I was trying to make it seem like, oh, for you guys, just do more giveaways or my parents. But no, it was my own selfish needs. Bro, I don't need any more money. I really don't.
Even smoke weed, but I feel high when I'm next.
All right. It was probably a big bag that he walked away from, I'm assuming. Probably multiple seven figures, if I had to guess. I could be wrong, but it's probably multiple seven figures that he walked away from. And I think that was the right decision. Obviously, that was the right decision, especially with the audience that he has. It would be so detrimental for him to use that audience to get, young people hooked on gambling. That's something that is very hard, if not impossible, to reverse, especially when you're dealing with young people and the ramifications that could potentially have on their life and their families moving forward, It's a blessing that he came to that realization before he got that bag. And I know he already has a lot of money, but I think what tends to happen at a certain point is when you start making a lot of money, that becomes your idol and you become a victim to idol worship, and you can't get out of that cycle of idolizing that money. And it sounds like if he would have got that bag, he would have probably fallen into that cycle of worshiping that money. And then any question or any thought of having a genuine relationship with God probably would have been out of the out of the question, off the table, because at that point your heart is becoming so hardened that you can't receive God anymore. The main concern that I have, going back to the beginning of the video, I said I had one primary concern. The main concern that I have is the fact that he's so successful, the fact that he's on a level of his own, and not very many people know what that level feels like. Not very many people know what it means to have the success that he has. And that makes it hard to relate to people. He's going to need to surround himself with believers who are more spiritually mature than he is, that can give him wisdom, that can pour into him, that can increase his discernment, that can encourage him, and that can pick him up when he falls down. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have that. It seems like he has, some relationships with young Don. But even Don, I consider myself a new believer still. And Don, I think he's only been saved maybe like, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I would consider him a new believer. And it's great to have friends like that, but I still think that he needs people who are more spiritually mature, far more spiritually mature than he is. And on top of that, people who can relate to him at the level that he's at. And I don't really know who that individual could be. But, pray that God opens up that relationship for JiDion in his life, But yeah, I think it's a blessing. It's a beautiful thing. I pray that God blesses him. I pray that his path is a fruitful one for not only himself, but for his audience, because his audience is going to be impacted by this shift as well. But here's the thing. Don't think you're still not going to fall, because, the devil has a lot of ammunition that he can use to tempt you. He has a lot of ammunition that he can use to tempt you. So don't think that you still won't fall. But when you do fall, don't let that derail you from your path. Don't let that derail you from your, walk with God, but use that as even more fire and drive to draw closer to God every single day, So that's my thoughts. Let me know what y'all think. Get in my comment section. Like this video. I'm out, y'all.